Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
Hello everyone, this is Jefferson with What's Happening Birmingham. Today I have the honor and pleasure back again with a lot of people that's running for judge. I told you I was going to get just about everybody to come on the podcast. But today, got my good friend, Mr. Paul Rand on today. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Jarvis. How are you?
Great. Thanks for coming on the podcast today. Mr. Rand is running for Circuit Court, place 16, May 24th, 2022. So, Paul, first of all, thanks for coming on. First question I want to ask you, other than running for judge, just tell the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a lawyer in the public defender's office, and like Mr. Escott said, I'm running for circuit judge, place 16. I live in Southside with my wife and our daughter, and if I'm elected, I would be the first public defender on the circuit bench in Jefferson County. I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's unique, because most of the time you never had like person that's used to defending the person actually being the judge, so that's an interesting pivot.
That's right. I mean, you know, if you look even nationwide, not just in Alabama, overwhelmingly folks who get either appointed or elected to the court are former prosecutors. And many of them are good attorneys. It's not to disparage the work that our prosecutors do, because it's incredibly important for people to be enforcing the law and enforcing respect for the law. Crimes happen. People commit crimes. So someone's got to hold people accountable when that kind of thing happens. On the other hand, our courts as an institution are so important to our society, and they've got to be fair. There are different ways that we use to try and make sure that they're fair, but I think one thing we've really neglected in our courts is trying to make sure that the people who staff them are coming from a diverse professional background. You know, there's really not a good balance there of where people have come from in their careers. And what it means when we don't have somebody from a public defender background on the court, on the circuit court I should say, is that we don't have anybody who has devoted their career to representing people who couldn't afford an attorney. And that's something that's important because, you know, we don't want a wealth-based system of justice where people are being treated different based on their ability to pay for a defense. Okay, so one of my favorite questions I like to always ask everybody that's running for office is, you're going to be in this position making a lot of tough decisions. That's right. So in your life, whether it was personal or professional, what's been some of the hardest decisions you've made so far? Well, you know, the big milestones, of course, getting married and starting a family. I mean, those have been things that I've taken very seriously, I'll say that. And my career choice. You know, I didn't go to law school knowing that this is the work that I was going to do. I kind of found my way into it through a series of choices about what really mattered to me and things that really kind of spoke to my heart. You know, I didn't know I was going to be a criminal lawyer. I certainly didn't know I was going to be a public defender. And this work has brought me into contact with, you know, all kinds of people that I wouldn't have maybe never have had as clients. But the decision to commit to what I'm doing now is something that's really taken me on a journey of growth and experience that I think has led me to where I am today. And that's been a good journey, but it's been a difficult one a lot of times too, because the work we do is not easy. So let's talk about place 16. Like, what type of cases you're going to be hearing in place 16? Because like when we see that ballot on May 24th, it's going to be a lot of different judicial positions. But what will you specifically be hearing in place 16? Yeah, you know, I vote every election, and I've been a Democrat my whole life, so I know what it's like to look at a long ballot and have all these folks down at the end of it. You got no idea what that's all about. Circuit Court Place 16 is in the criminal division, and it hears mainly felony cases. So it's all the really serious stuff. You know, it's murder cases, robbery, rape, burglary, things of that nature. It's a very important position. It's currently held by Judge Teresa Pulliam, who has been a fantastic judge. She's a really compassionate person. She's very knowledgeable about the law, and she's been a really exemplary public servant in that way. But she's not running for re-election, so it's an open seat. Okay, so, you know, going back to what you said earlier, because that is unique, having the actual public defender that's in that position.
and you said how to say almost like a wealth-based system. I think a lot of people don't really understand that, because most of the time they feel like when they get a public defender, it's like, okay, I don't have no money, so I'm not getting the best attorney possible. It's only what the state has to give me according to the Constitution.
Yeah, I have to overcome that initial assumption a lot.
Okay.
And it's not like I hand people in jail my resume and try and convince them of anything. But the fact of the matter is, I was president of my law school class. Okay. I worked in federal court, which is not an easy job to get. I worked for a judge in federal court for several years. I was in private practice and made pretty good money when I was doing that. I handled a lot of different types of cases. But I've come back to this work because it's really clear to me that it's the most important work that someone of my generation can be doing with the privilege of having a law degree. I think that, with privilege and with opportunity comes a lot of responsibility. And, one of the most important questions we can ask ourselves in life is, what are you doing for others? Okay. What are you doing to give back? And for me, as a Democrat in the last several years in this country, and especially in the state of Alabama, it has really become clearer and clearer to me that nobody can get by without doing something, making some kind of sacrifice, making some kind of commitment to bring our country back to a place that we can live with. And, I say bring it back. I don't know that our country has ever been in a place that we should have been satisfied with. But I know that if I'm going to be okay with the way that I spent my day when I go to bed at night, I have to know that I did something trying to bring people together, trying to do justice, trying to make it right. And that's why I do the work that I do. Okay, well, I'm going to do a segment that's called Connect the Dots. This is my favorite part about when I interview all people that's running for judicial positions. So tell people where you grew up, where you're from, where you go to church, community involvement. So if somebody's watching this podcast, because I always say people who watch my podcast, they watch for three things. One, they watch because they want to tune in because who I got on. Second, maybe people tune in. And then the third, we got inquisitive people, I like to call nosy folks. So try to connect the dots for us and tell the viewers. All right. I grew up in Tuscaloosa. Okay. My folks worked for the university, so I grew up pretty close to campus over there at UA. I've been a Tide fan my whole life. Sure enough, went to Alabama undergrad. Okay. Worked for several years in between, but went back for law school, so I got 2 degrees from Alabama. Okay. Like I said, I got elected president of my law school class, came here to work for the public defender's office when I got out of school, and I live on South Side. Sure. I'm involved with a number of organizations. I do a lot of volunteer work through the bar. Okay. The Bar Association, meaning like a lot of work, legal volunteering for people and just organizational stuff. I've been a big brother with big brothers, big sisters. That's a really important thing in my life is, watching my little, kind of grow up and figure out his way in the world. That's been something that's been really significant to me. And I've done other volunteer stuff here and there. I go to Advent Episcopal Church downtown, right here, not far from where we are right now. I can't remember what else you were asking. Those are the basics. I think you connect the dots pretty good. So I guess this is one of my favorite questions to, next question. What's some of your hobbies? I know you ain't got time to do a lot of hobbies because you're on the campaign trail. What's some of that doing? Yeah, these days there's not a whole lot going on there. But I do like to exercise when I have the time. Like I say, I'm off the wagon these days, but I'm definitely a member of the Y, and my wife Charlotte and I like to go swimming. We like to go work out in the gym. We like to go running. So that's something that's important, is trying to stay physically fit. I do a lot of reading. I like to read novels and I like to read history. So I spend some time in the evenings doing that when I've got the time. And we like to travel. We've got a little bit of time. My wife and I both had the good fortune to be able to kind of get out of town some and see the world a little bit, and we like that. And now that we've got a little baby, we like showing her that part of things too. Okay, so final closing pitch to the voters. Why should people on Tuesday, May 24th, choose you as the next judge, and tell the viewers in the camera? I'd be happy to. May 24th is really important. for everybody. And, you know, I've got qualifications. I hope that folks will go on to Facebook at Paul Rand for Judge, or onto my website. It's rand4judge.com. And you can see some things about my background. You'll see that I've done some interesting things in my career. I've definitely handled a lot of serious matters in criminal court. And I say those things to say I've got the knowledge and the experience and the temperament to be a good judge, personally. So there's lots of good reasons to vote for Paul Rand. But there's also lots of good reasons to vote for a public defender to get on the circuit court bench. It's really important, and it's bigger than just me. That's really the main thing I'm trying to get across to people, Jarvis. We spend a lot of time talking about criminal justice reform, and I think everybody agrees that there is something wrong with the mass incarceration situation in America. There is something wrong with the racial injustice that we all see in our criminal justice system. That's not, I don't think, a controversial point to make. Overwhelmingly, my clients are young black men. I mean, that's just not deniable. So we all know that there are things that are wrong with the criminal justice system. What we don't always know is what to do about it. And we talk a lot about trying to get something passed through Congress. We need to talk to the president. We need to get something done in Montgomery, God help us. You know, those are important things to push for, but voting at the local level is incredibly important. That's something the Republicans know, and we need to figure it out too. You can go to the polls on May 24th and vote, and your ballot is going to make a difference for what goes on right here in Birmingham. I live in Southside. I care about what happens in Jefferson County. And I try to tell voters, you know, there are not a lot of opportunities where you can go to the polls and make an impact on something that is systemic, something that really has an impact on a whole lot of people beyond just, hey, who's going to get this job? And that's what I'm telling people. They need to get out there, they need to vote in the Democratic primary, and they need to put a public defender on the circuit court bench.
Well, sir, thank you for coming on today and sharing your, you know, because like I said, I've never had actually a public defender come on the podcast, but that's a whole other segment. But also sharing your passion why you want to run for judge. Wish you good success. You all, please go out and vote on Tuesday, May 24th. Check out my website, what'shappenedbirmingham.com, for more interviews. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and check out the audio version on Apple Podcasts. Thank y'all again. Have a great day and go vote. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.